Hey guys, my name is Tammy. I am a place-based owner here in Sacramento, California, and I usually try to do some videos and talk to you guys a little bit about what it's like to own a place space. So today I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about the changes that we made on our second year and the upcoming things that I hope to accomplish this year in our place space. So that hopefully gives you a little bit of insight of what it's like to maybe own a place space in year 2 or 3. So let's talk a little bit about our second year and kind of what happened during this year. I feel like it went by really fast, and I kind of jotted down just some notes, but honestly I can barely remember right now kind of all the things that happened, just because we're in the midst of doing our New Year's Eve party and just kind of ending the year on a good note. So I'm kind of stressed out regarding that, but yeah. So going into this, I always knew that I wasn't anticipating on making any money off our place space until probably about the third or the fourth year. Just because our second year, although it is a huge accomplishment, we are still in the midst of, paying off loans and things like that, and just trying to claw back some of the money that we spent initially to build up our place space. So I'm hoping in the next year coming up that will be one of our biggest goals to accomplish. So hopefully in my next update, you guys will hear a little bit about that. But the major things that we did in our second year was, I think the major change was during our anniversary, we actually added a ball pit. And I have to tell you guys, I was highly against the ball pit, and I am still kind of highly against it. I just feel like it's just too hard it's just stressful because there are a lot of balls, and it's just too hard to manage, the expectation that people should pick up the balls if they throw the balls out, that they should not throw the balls, things like that. It's just a lot of logistics that kind of go into the ball pit itself. As a consumer, I think that is a great thing. I think that people like ball pits. I think kids like ball pits. They have so much fun in it. But as the owner or an employee, having a ball pit is just like an anxiety inducing thing. But we added the ball pit just because we had room on our play floor. I feel like sometimes people come in and they tell us that they feel like our place is too small, but we've added so many toys since then, so obviously it's not that small. I feel like having the open play concept makes it look like it's smaller. So maybe if you are having a smaller play space and you don't like an open play concept, that might work to your advantage to make it, breaking out into little rooms to make it look bigger. But for us, I wanted an open place concept so that way I could see everybody no matter where we're standing. And I think that it really helps us as far as labor is concerned, because we only need like one employee to kind of like watch the floor rather than 2 or 3 at a time. So that helps us a lot as far as labor goes, if that is one of your concerns, which you should be, because labor is the number one cost that comes out of our bank account. I just checked our sales report. So last year I think we did 127 birthdays. This year we're going a little bit about 152, 154, somewhere around there. So we did grow in the amount of birthdays that we did. I think one of the downsides that we did was that the year prior to that, we actually converted one of the party rooms into a infant room. It was necessary just because we used to have the infant room on the outside, and we would always have problems with big kids being in there, and it's just become such a headache trying to corral the big kids out of the infant area. So now that it's in a separate room, we have less of that problem. But the only problem is that we lose a little bit of revenue because that infant area is taking up a party room. So essentially we could be running an extra party on a really busy weekend and getting a little bit of extra money in our pocket. But because the party room is not there, then we do lose a little bit of that. But regardless of that being said, we still did more parties than we did the year prior to that. And the year prior to that, I think that we were really slow as far as parties go. So my theory is it takes kind of like a whole year in being in business for people to kind of know about you, to know that you do birthday parties and stuff like that, to kind of be busy on the schedule all the time regarding birthday parties. So I hope to grow next year as far as the birthday party count goes. And I think that how I'm going to do that is that we've been kind of testing out lately, taking out the infant area when we do have a party in that room. so that way we can book the small party room. So just taking out it briefly for like the weekend or a couple of days or something like that, so that way we can hold extra parties. I think that would be really helpful. Parties are your number one money maker, so you have to make sure that you make that a priority. One of the things I think that really helped us this year as far as booking more parties and making a little bit more extra revenue because of birthday parties is that we added theme party packages and really updid a lot of the birthday parties. I think that now with the Pinterest craze and everything, that parents do want a really cool birthday party that they can put on Instagram, and just something that the kids just really love. I feel like if you add a theme party package, you can make a little bit extra money, and then also a little bit more stress-free on the parents. Not necessarily on you. I feel like for us, we've done so many parties now that we do kind of like a package of like 10 different themes, and it does make it a little bit less stressful because if you've done the theme before, the setup is very, very, very quick. It can be time consuming, but at least it becomes kind of like more kind of ingrained in the culture of Imagine Play. So then it makes it a little bit easier for the employees to set up and everything. And it also is a little bit less stress because when the parents come, they don't have to worry about anything. They just have to worry about bringing the food and having a good time rather than decorating. I feel like more parents become stressed because they spend a majority of their time decorating the party and making it look, I guess, Pinteresty. So I feel like most of the parents that actually add on our decor package are a little bit more stressful, a little bit more carefree, and I really like that. And then also the cleanup is a little bit easier on us just because we don't have to worry about, trying to package all this stuff for them to take home and stuff like that. And we know that the majority of it stays here. And if we don't clean everything up right away, we have time to like do it the day after or, a few days after. So it's a little bit less stressful on us in those aspects. And I really think that having that theme party package and being able to upsell that did really help as far as sales were concerned. I feel like one of the things that we really learned this year is being a little bit more brand conscious about what we want Imagine Play to become, and to kind of what rules and behaviors that we don't want in our play space. So that kind of leads me into the changes that we're thinking about next year. So next year, I do not plan on putting any more play structures in our space. I feel like we have a lot of good existing play structures right now, and I feel like those will last a really long time. I think my number one goal next year is really to do maintenance. A lot of the things that we need to keep up on. I have on my list of maintenance thingies to like to touch up paint on our castle and our pirate ship, and then also to redo some of our tiles, our floor tiles. So those are like the 3 top things that I have to do in January for maintenance wise. But I don't plan on spending any more money on play structures in the upcoming year, and I feel like that is going to be beneficial to us and trying to claw back some of that money that I said previously in the video. So that is really a major goal of mine this year as well. The other thing that we're thinking about changing in 2020 is also our sock policy. Not that we're not going to require socks, but we do find that part of our floor is pretty slippery. And if I can find a way to make it not slippery, that would be ideal. But I think what we're going to do is require grip socks. And one of the other things is maybe having to up the pricing so that way every admission that comes in that doesn't have grip socks, we would give them a pair of grip socks because you have to account for that cost. So that's one of the ideas or the changes that we're looking for in the upcoming year. The other thing is that we're trying to get more posters to define our play space rules. So I'm looking into doing that in the upcoming year as well, just so that way the rules are not so ambiguous and that they're there for everybody to see. And because we're trying to create a community of people that, will kind of have a certain type of behavior when they're at our play space. So that's kind of what we're hoping to create with those posters. And right now I feel like our play space our policy poster is just so small, and it's just so hard for parents to understand like what is and is not acceptable in our play space. So I think that it's really key to kind of create those posters so that way they are more in the forefront of their mind when they are playing, and keeping our play space safe, and of course keeping it more resistant to like wear and tear. I guess that would be like the best way to state that. One of my goals this upcoming year is really just to maybe create a more passive income for Imagine Play. I have been kind of working a lot this last year, and I feel like now that it's being near the end of the year, my energy level is draining. So I think that the next year around this time, I'm probably going to try to take more time off and spend more time to myself. Even today, I tried to take this morning off, and I got up early to go run errands to make sure that my staff and Imagine Play had everything they needed for to run properly today. But then, you know, things come up, you get backlogged a little bit, you have to delegate to your employees and everything like that. So I didn't even get out of there until probably about 10:15ish. And then I wanted to come home and do these videos, and now I gotta go pick up my kids and all that stuff. So I really feel like I need to take a little bit more time, especially during the times when my kids are not with me, to kind of decompress a little bit more near the end of the year. So I feel like that will be one of my goals next year. My other goal is really to try to create more of a passive income for Imagine Play, so that way we have other streams of income coming in, and then that way I can actually start maybe working more from home and just keeping the daily operations kind of out of my hands. I think that was one of the most stressful things for me, just because I tend to wear my emotions on my sleeves, and people don't always respond well to that, and I don't always respond well to also people's emotions on their sleeves, you know. So I think that if I could create more of kind of that type of income for myself and for Imagine Play, then I would generally be a little bit more of a happy person when I'm there, and a little bit more stress-free when I am there. So hopefully that's kind of one of the things that I'm looking up for in the coming year. All the other notes I have is just really to kind of dial down on our policies more. I noticed in the last year we dialed down a lot more on what we would and would not allow for birthday parties. So like as years and years go on, I feel like in any business like this, you learn more and more and more, and then you kind of learn what works for your business and what does not work for your business, and you will incorporate that. So hopefully this is a little bit helpful for you guys. If you guys are looking to opening a play space, or you already have one, see what kind of changes we've made this year and the upcoming year coming up. Hopefully saying all these goals out loud, I will be able to implement all this stuff. Not everything can be done all the time, but at least I've said it, and you know, I can hold myself accountable to it. If you want to hear kind of like our daily struggles about what I go through on a daily basis, sometimes I do Instagram live, and I talk to you guys a little bit about my thoughts on what's happening in the week, or what's happening in the month, or just my daily struggles of being a play space owner. So if you would like to hear about that, follow me on Instagram. Make sure you subscribe to this channel to keep up on more videos and more tips about being a play space owner. Talk to you next time.